You've been working in it's Rio, Colorado. Is that how you say it?
Well, I started the church. I was sent out from my church in Arizona to plant a church in San Luis, Rio,
Okay.
Colorado,
San Luis Rio.
Sonora, Mexico.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Little border town right across the street from Arizona
Yeah.
along the Colorado River. And so I planted that church from scratch. We were in the desert, no buildings, no resources, nothing. And the idea was never to kind of be the white man in charge and it'd be my church and reign. It was always to raise people up. And so after about 5, 6 years of trying that, we partnered with a church from Idaho called Real Life Ministries, and they do this biblical relational discipleship training. So they trained me, coached me, encouraged me, my good friend Buzz, Pastor Dave Campbell, Jim Putman, and what I was struggling with began to grow. People began to mature spiritually, and as they continued to mature, they were able to invest in other people and help them to mature. And I was able to raise up a local indigenous pastor, Pastor Rolando, and we were able to pass the ball off on him to pastor that church. In the meantime, I began to train a couple of other pastors in the area in San Luis. Now we're training, we have 5 core churches that we've partnered with through Church Mexico, and principally doing the training with the pastors, their wives, the core leadership group, and discipling them in Jesus' model, right? Inviting them to come along, modeling, instructing, practicing, encouraging, affirming what they do well, correcting what they didn't do well, adding on, and then ultimately releasing them to do that with others. But in that process, the local churches, as they're growing and maturing, they're also having a greater impact in their communities. So being along that northern border region, it's about a 60-mile radius currently. We'll begin training with 19 other pastors and churches in a few days. June 21st, we begin a whole new round with a whole new group of pastors. So continues to expand. But
Yeah.
the needs there are very easy to identify. The kids at 12 or 13, if parents pull them out of school when they're living in poverty, right? They pull them out of school because it costs money to go to school, and it's better to have them go work out in the streets selling candy or gum or washing windows. And unfortunately, that's where the cartel comes in and sucks them up. They get involved
Right.
in drugs and trafficking, humans, prostitution, human trafficking. And so we found that if we can sponsor them and keep them in school, then we keep them out of the grips of the cartels while they're being churched, while they're learning about Christ and learning the plan of God for their lives. So that's been life changing. So we do this rescuing girls before they need rescuing, preventing them from ever getting into prostitution, abortion, traffic, and the boys before they ever get into the local gangs and then into cartels and illegal immigration and crossing drugs and stuff. We keep them solid in Christ. We get them an education, and then their families that have suffered from generation to generation through poverty, they're lifted out of poverty because now they have an education and they have careers, and so it lifts the whole family up. So we're working on that. We have a women's empowering ministry where we're teaching them how to sew, that they can sell the dolls and napkins and stuff to provide for themselves. So it's always a hand up, not a hand out. We're investing in them. We're equipping them to do the work. And those that are willing to do it are growing up and out of poverty, out of hunger, improving their life while they're learning to know Jesus more and serve Him and be a light in the darkness.
I love it. By the way, there will be a link in the description to Church Mexico. If anybody out there has a heart to donate money to Church Mexico, that money goes directly to these kids that would otherwise be on the street. So I've heard a lot about your ministry and what you do over the years. I'm very familiar with it, but there's so much. The needs are so endless. But the difference that this makes in the lives of these kids is unbelievable. It's not anything that most of us in America can relate to, because you're talking about the difference between being in school and learning basics, and in this case, even learning Bible and learning about Jesus and that kind of stuff, versus out on the street where you described last night, because we had a group of people over last night, and you described, how a kid would be out there and just trying to sell packs of gum, and somebody will come up to them and say, "How much money did you make today?" And he's like, "I don't know, a few pesos or whatever. How would you like to make this amount?" And it's like, well, how do I do that? You were describing this, and it's some cartel member, and it's their first drug run. Just take this package and bring it over there, whatever, and they just get sucked into it.
Yep.
And that's the boys. And for the girls, it's a whole lot more hellish. So I just wanted to say there's a link down in the description. Anybody who has a heart to donate money to Church Mexico, please do. They run this ministry so efficiently. And that money goes directly to these kids. There's different levels of how much it takes to support a kid that's in junior high versus high school. You can even support some of these kids through the university level for pennies on the dollar compared to what it costs in America.
Yeah.